happening, people? It's your girl Minna. Welcome back to the channel. You already know what it is, man. Big up to everyone locked in on this absolutely amazing, wonderful. I don't even have enough adjectives to describe how I'm feeling on this Monday afternoon. Big up to everyone locked in. Be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe on your way in, especially if you are a new subscriber. Welcome to the community. Welcome to the gang. Listen, I always say after a win, it just feels different. The vibe, the environment, everything just feels different. And today, it just feels that little bit more sweeter. I'm not gonna lie, it feels that little bit more sweeter after yesterday's FA Cup game. We got a lot to talk about, of course, as well. We got transfer news to talk about. Napoli reportedly bid £38 million for Alejandro Garnacho, and Manchester United reject it and are expecting and hoping and price him at a minimum of £60 million. We're going to talk about that. Malacia could potentially leave. And just before I went live, it was announced that Marcus Rashford is in advanced talks with AC Milan for a move to the capital of Italy. So we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk about the Arsenal game. We have to talk about the FA Cup. We're going to talk about particular players that I want to put a spotlight on. That I feel like, to be honest, a lot of players were getting their flowers after yesterday's game. But, you know, it doesn't hurt to big up your players a little bit more, especially off the back of two big games, guys, away from home, Anfield and the Emirates. I feel like a lot of people wrote Manchester United off before the year, even the calendar year started. They already said, oh, they're starting the year going to Anfield and then the Emirates, they're going to struggle, blah, blah, blah. And look what happened. It was the complete opposite. I'm loving, by the way, the reaction of Arsenal fans. Like, I'm living for it right now because it's not even rattled. It's not even rattled. There's a section of the Arsenal fans that I've realized have accepted, you know, the result and why they lost. And of course are asking questions internally. And then there's the ones that are just trying to deal with, you know, losing to what. It's funny because everyone calls United a crap team during the season. Oh, look at where you are in the league. But then when you lose to Man United, it's like, oh, it was luck. It's quite funny. But anyways, half of the fan base are asking questions, and rightfully so, because I was asking questions about Arsenal under Arteta, and in particular their attack and the attack options that they had. But then there's another section of the fan base that are like, it is what it is, on to the next. I don't know, man. I have my thoughts on that, but, you know, I shouldn't throw stones when I live in a glass house. I should just focus on Man United and their situation. But big up to everyone. Like I said, guys, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well. I'm bringing a lot of content on the chat. I don't know if you lot realize, guys, I'm uploading a video every single day, or near enough to every single day. And that is alongside the daily streams that you lot are getting. People have asked me to start doing watch-alongs. I've already told you, like, I don't enjoy watch-along, sitting there for 2-3 hours talking to a screen. It's not really that fun, but I might do it for like the big games, especially as I do more non-Man United content. You saw I dropped a video on the El Clasico yesterday, so make sure you guys check that out. And make sure you guys check out also the match reaction of the Manchester United game as well. But the games are coming thick and fast through the next couple of weeks. We got midweek game. By the way, I didn't even know it was a midweek game this week, guys. I did not know. I just happened to be looking at FootMob to see what games I could watch today or tomorrow, and I saw there was Premier League on. I thought we were playing Southampton like on the weekend. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't realize we were playing midweek. But anyways, the games are coming thick and fast. And Ruben Amorim, when he's given a week or just under a week between games, you can see what he can do. Like, I don't think people are fully deep in it, by the way, guys. Man United have gone away to Anfield, to the Emirates, and to the Etihad, and got a result, or walked away, in Anfield's case, walked away with a point, which I think United could have won. I feel like after that game at Anfield, a lot of us were frustrated because we felt like we could have won. The mentality shift, I feel like, in the team, especially for big games, it's different. It feels different. Like, and one thing that I feel like kind of sums up everything is yesterday in particular, 91st minute, United get a set piece. A keeper comes out to collect, bam. Before he even gets a chance to throw it out, everyone is sprinting back. All 10 players are sprinting back. Do you know how deep you have to dig in a 90-something minute after playing for how long, yeah, to sprint back in the manner that they did? I feel like I don't want to be too premature in my reaction and say that a corner is being turned, but I don't know how you can watch what Ruben Amorim is doing and not buy into it. Like yesterday, Ruben Amorim's changes, spot on. He got the subs spot on. Diogo Dalot getting sent off and then shifting Ahmad there and creating a back five and a back four essentially, and then Lisandro Martinez cramping up, and they put Lisandro Martinez up front so that he would have to run less, because they knew that at left-sided centre-back he could be prone to making an error because he was so tired. I feel like if you can't buy into what this is, what Ruben Amorim is trying to do, then I just don't know. The fact that he gave a chance to Toby Collier, who I actually thought was more suited for the game than Casemiro was. I actually think if Casemiro had come on, despite his experience and despite his ability, I feel like he might have been a liability for Manchester United in possession. Whereas Toby Collier, I'm seeing people comparing Toby Collier to Scott McTominay. No disrespect to Scott McTominay, but they're not remotely the same. They're not. Scott McTominay is a box-crashing midfielder, if you want to call it that. Toby Collier is able to not do the dirty work to the extent of Ugarte doing, but he's also good on the ball. And he can be that link between Ugarte and the rest of the midfield. I don't know how people are comparing him to Scott McTominay. But anyways, before we get into that, let's start with transfer news. I think it's good to start with transfer news, and then we can talk about the game, and I want to hear what everybody has to say about the result. Fabrizio Romano reporting this morning, starting with Tyrell Malacia, who we saw him make an appearance yesterday as well. Fabrizio Romano reporting that Tyrell Malacia could leave Manchester United if they get a good proposal, even if it's on an initial loan with an option to buy. A buy clause. It doesn't have to be a obligation. It could also be an option. It's very obvious to me that it looks like Manchester United are trying to offload one or two players. I think if they're not able to offload two at the least in the January window, I think Man United will be disappointed with themselves. I actually think Man United will be disappointed with themselves. But I'm not going to lie, I didn't have Malacia on the cards leaving this January. I didn't think that. I thought that maybe there's something that they're seeing behind closed doors that maybe we're not seeing. But I would have thought with the minimal options that you have at left wing back, you know, you got Diogo. I don't know if you lot realized yesterday, but Diogo Dalot and Mazraoui switched in the second half. So the fact that you don't really have an out left wing back right now, and it doesn't look like you're going into the market to buy one, I'm shocked that they're letting Malacia leave. Maybe he's pushing for a move on his side and he wants more game time, especially coming back off of a season-long kind of injury recovery process that he underwent. But I'm kind of shocked. I can't lie. I am kind of shocked to see that Manchester United are willing to listen to offers for him. On the note of left wing backs, Manchester United plan to use Diogo Leon in pre-season this summer. He will sign a 4-year contract. He's completed his medical and he's currently in Manchester right now doing his medical and all of that stuff, doing all his media duties. And then he will go back to his home country and return back at the end of the season to meet up with Manchester United. I think Man United are paying about $3 million in total for him. And his ceiling reportedly, because I'm not going to act like I've watched him a lot, but reportedly his ceiling is quite high. Now, let's get into the main outgoing conversation. We're going to get to the Garnacho conversation as well, but let's get to the main conversation of outgoings. Now, it's always kind of the case. Man United play, I don't know if you don't realize, but the conversations about Marcus Rashford has kind of quietened down around match day. There was always questions targeted to Ruben Amorim before a game, in the press conferences, etc., about Marcus Rashford, but it does seem like it's kind of quietened down. He was asked about Marcus Rashford after the game and what he has to do to kind of get back into the team, and he just said it's a matter of selection right now and he just has to keep working hard. But that's a very diplomatic answer. That's a politician's answer. He's keeping it diplomatic because the whole world knows right now Marcus Rashford's agent, aka his brother, is in talks with multiple European clubs. It does seem that talks are excelling with AC Milan for Marcus Rashford to join. This is coming directly from Italian reporters based obviously in Italy. And it was expected this morning that contact would resume between Manchester United, and AC Milan for Marcus Rashford. So it does seem like he's advanced with his destination, and it will probably be AC Milan. I mean, AC Milan right now, they got Rafael Leao, who's just returning back from injury. I don't know if you lot watched the Super Cup the other day, but he came off the bench. He was meant to be out, I think, until mid-January. And they've got another young left winger over there. They've got, obviously, Pulisic as well. They've got a decent front line, but I don't see Marcus Rashford benching Rafael Leao, if I'm being honest. Right now, in the AC Milan team, and by the way, AC Milan are not doing that great this season. I think they're 8th place or 7th place in the league. They're probably not finishing in a Champions League spot. But the best thing for Marcus Rashford to do is to go out there and get game time, because I'm sure you guys might share the same sentiment as I do. But his time at Man United is over. And if Man United are going to sell him in the summer transfer window, the best thing he can do for himself to get the best move, but also for Man United to be able to sell him, is to go and perform wherever you go. And if it's at AC Milan, where I feel like if you went to Juve or if you went to Napoli, I feel like the pressure might be a lot bigger. AC Milan is a big club, by the way. It's a big club. Heritage. AC Milan is heritage, for European heritage. But they're not doing that great this season. I think the fans might have accepted, let me see exactly where they are in the league. I think the fans may have accepted that they might not be finishing. They're 8th place right now. They are 8th place. And I think the fans have accepted they might not finish in Champions League football. They could still finish in a European spot because they're only 4 points off 6th place. They got Bologna in front of them, Fiorentina, Juve, Lazio, Atalanta, Inter, and then Napoli. So I think it's very obvious that out of all the teams that he's kind of linked to, I do think AC Milan will be the least pressure. I'm not saying it's not a big club, but I'm saying right now it will be the least pressure because they are so far out of a European spot. All you have to do is come in. If you can score a couple of goals, get a couple of assists in the next four months that he'll be playing football, then I think it will be a good spell for him. Sell Rashford for 10 to 20 million and just get him gone. I've seen a lot of people willing to take a cut on Marcus Rashford just so that he leaves. Milan got a Brexit problem. They cannot have both Walker and Rashford, so the latter will most likely not happen. Why can't they have Walker and Rashford? Why can't they? Sorry, because they've got Tomori and Abraham, who are also English. I think they've got Tomori and Tammy Abraham, who are English. Do they have a cap of the number of English players that they can have? Rash has to go. He just brings negativity to the team. We have been exceptional without him. He needs to go reboot his form. Well, we ain't been exceptional without him because we went on a 3-game losing streak in the Premier League where we did not score towards the end of last year. If you guys have forgotten, a couple of weeks ago, we were losing to Forest and that. So let's not paint Man United to be doing amazing, despite the fact that, we've come off the back of beating Arsenal, got a result at Anfield. In those games, though, you can definitely see that I think when you're not focused on one player in the system, I think then you kind of see how different people can influence the game in the system, if that makes sense. I feel like if Marcus Rashford was playing yesterday, for example, I think he would have been a lot less of a team player. And I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean it in the fact that I feel like he would have been trying to dribble at players, take players on, when it seems like a lot of the instructions that United have right now is to pass the ball, recycle possession. I don't think that would have been the case. But we're going to talk about that when we kind of get to the game. In terms of Marcus Rashford, it's really sad that we've actually seen his last kind of game for Manchester United without even knowing it. It's also reported by Luke Edwards at The Telegraph. Take this with a pinch of salt. West Ham have held informal talks to assess whether a pursuit for Marcus Rashford is a realistic one. They would be keen on a loan move. Now, I don't know if you lot follow West Ham, but West Ham, Fulkrug is now out for 3 months. They got Mikel Antonio as well that's out. They are in dire need of a striker. They have Jared Bowen playing through the middle sometimes. I don't think Marcus Rashford is the answer to their striker issues, but if Jesse Lingard could go and revive his career at West Ham, who's to say that Marcus Rashford can't? But I don't think that's his level. Some of you guys might think West Ham is his level, and that's, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And last but not least, Florian Plettenberg was reporting earlier this afternoon, that there was a personal meeting last week between representatives of Marcus Rashford and Borussia Dortmund's sporting director. Dortmund are still in the race to sign Rashford. However, it remains very difficult to make it happen, primarily because the overall package is too expensive at this stage. out of curiosity, I just want to look at Borussia Dortmund's salaries. I'm just curious. I want to know who their highest earner is in GBP, because there's no way they're signing Marcus Rashford. So Dortmund's highest player, there you go. There is no way with this salary structure, there is no way that Dortmund will sign Marcus Rashford on loan unless Man United are covering a huge amount of that. The fact that Nicholas Sol is their highest earner and he earns less than half of what Marcus Rashford earns. Guirassy is a recent signing as well. He's on 150k. That's less than half than what Marcus Rashford has. I feel like a lot of teams don't want to break their salary structure for a loan player, number one, and number two, for a player that there's no guarantee that they're going to get a return on that asset. So if, for example, AC Milan were to buy Marcus Rashford, I don't think they would be willing to break their wage structure, because let's be honest, a lot of these teams that Marcus Rashford is linked to, they are not high payers. They are not high payers. If it was Bayern Munich, different conversation. But the AC Milans, the Juves, the Napolis, they don't pay as much as the big clubs do, maybe in other European leagues. So unless they're willing to break their wage structure for a player that there's no guarantee that they're going to get a return on that asset, then I can't see it happening. I can't see it happening. Do I see a Brazil 02 kit? Yes, you do. It says Ronaldo on the back. Big up to Camo, says big up Mina and the chat, big up. I've come to say Zexi is better than Rasmus and he needs time. Let me come back to that comment, Jordan. Jordan, when we get to the conversation about yesterday's game, I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back to your comment as well. Please just sell him. I'm tired of this one. I'm tired of this like roller coaster of, is he going to go? Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? Is he going to stay? I just want, and one thing that bothers me so much, guys, I don't know if it bothers you, but I hate the fact that we are relying on outgoings to bring in a player in the January transfer window. Now, a lot of teams aren't making that many moves. Like, I don't feel like January is it's not like the summer, right? It's not the summer. It's not the window where people go out and splash on players. Yeah. You buy players with certainty that they are right for you and for your team. I feel like the only team in England right now that are really spending is Manchester City. I told you, look, Pep called up the Sheikh of Abu Dhabi. He said, listen, I need money. He said, okay, 500 million deposit in your bank account in 24 hours under the name of Etihad Airline sponsorship. They said they probably sent money under the name of sponsorships. Oh, Etihad sponsorship. Oh, Etisalat sponsorship. Oh, this person's sponsorship. Anyways, they're the only team that's really spending, because every other team are in a financial mishap, if you want to call it. I wouldn't call it being broke, but I just feel like the financial situations of a lot of other clubs is not like Manchester City's. By the way, I think Man City's owners actually invest the most. They kind of pump the most money into the team in comparison to other owners in the Premier League. But I hate the fact that we are relying on players having to leave to maybe bring in one signing. That is frustrating, given the fact that we know where the flaws are. And we're going to talk about the striker situation, because that has kind of quietened down. I don't know if you guys have realized, but a lot of the incoming talk has kind of quietened down. Now it seems like the biggest topic of conversation is going to be outgoings. That is the biggest topic. Marcus Rashford, Malacia, Antony. We're going to get to Antony, Casemiro, etc., etc. That is the biggest topic of conversation right now in the transfer window for Manchester United. And just on the topic of Antony, Dharmesh Seth at Sky Sports reports that 2 clubs have made inquiries about Antony to Manchester United: Real Betis and Olympiacos. Now, again, there's no guarantee in terms of where he's going to go. But one thing I think for Manchester United, in terms of the players that they have right now and the players that they have to go out on loan in particular, you need to get these players to drive their own prices up. They need to do United a favor. United have done Antony a favor by taking him from 20k a week to 200k a week. So now he needs to do United a favor, go out on loan and perform, and maybe United will be able to sell you for £30 million. Maybe United will be able to sell you for £25 million. Yesterday, I thought we actually might have seen Antony come on, especially when Dalot got sent off. But I think Amorim went for the right decision after bringing on Ahmad instead of Antony. These kind of players, I don't know if you lot realized as well, there is a reoccurring theme, maybe bar Malacia, there's a reoccurring theme for players that are up for loan or to leave in the January window in Amorim's squad right now. Antony's not really playing. Marcus Rashford's not playing. Casemiro's not really playing. These are all players, Christian Eriksen, not really playing. These are all players that are looking to potentially leave it. Let me go through the chat. Big up to everyone. Listen, guys, be sure to hit the like button as well. The likes and the views, it's not adding up right now. And you don't know the rules. You come in, you wipe your feet, you say hi to everyone in the chat, and then, of course, you hit the like button as well. Today, I'm doing 3 streams, guys, back to back to back. If that is not commitment, I don't know what is. So make sure you lot follow me over after this to the Straight Jacket podcast, and then after that it's the red carpet. But like I said, make sure you hit the like button. The views and the likes it's not adding up right now. You know the rules. You come in, you wipe your feet, you say hi to everyone in the chat, and you hit the like button. If you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content. Of course, you get to support the growth of the channel. If you want to support the channel in alternative ways, you can by helping me reach the super chat goal on the stream for today. It also helps to grow the channel, grow the community as well. We are less than 300 subscribers away from 11k. We only hit 10k like a week and a half ago, and now, or maybe even less than that, it was about a week ago we hit 10k, and now we are less than 300 away from hitting 11k. So the road to 20k this year is on. The road to 20k is on, inshallah, God willing. Let me see what you lot are saying about Antony. Whoever agreed that Antony 85 million and 220 a week deal needs fired. I think they've been fired already. Antony looking at a loan to Greece. I read on X. That is no disrespect to the Greek league. No disrespect. But I just don't know why you would choose to go to the Greek league over going to the Spanish league with Real Betis. Again, no disrespect to the Greek league. I don't watch the Greek league. I think Martial's there right now. But I just don't get why you would favor to go to Olympiacos over Real Betis. I don't know. I would love to know what is going on in Antony's head right now. And another player that potentially could be leaving is confirmed. It's not confirmed, but it is rumored. A move for Casemiro to the Saudi league is still on. Talks will continue this week. I don't know if you guys saw, but a couple of days ago, I think it was on Friday. The media advisor to Al Nassr posted a tweet in Arabic, and he basically said, this is the time of year where a lot of European clubs and journalists are using the Saudi league to prop up their players for a move to the Saudi league. He basically said all the rumors about players coming to Al Nassr is false. And I guess that is kind of indirectly speaking about the Casemiro thing. He said all the rumors is false, and he said if there is anything to be announced or to be shared, it will come directly from Saudi Arabia, i.e. the Saudi journalists or the Saudi sources. So that I'm going to take it with a pinch of salt, because that's coming from the horse's mouth, guys. That is coming from the media advisor for Al Nassr, or a senior member of Al Nassr. But if you look at Casemiro right now under Ruben Amorim, I think Amorim has made it very clear that there's not a place for him in the team. And people are saying, look, Amorim kind of disrespected. I saw someone say that Amorim disrespected Casemiro yesterday by bringing on Toby Collier ahead of him. And I didn't think that was disrespectful. I just thought that the game was more suited to a player like Toby Collier than rather Casemiro. Casemiro is still a true professional. He's there on the bench, cheering on his guys, celebrating with them when Zexi scored the winner, still being a true professional. But I did think that the game was much more suited to a player like Toby Collier than it was Casemiro. I feel like had Casemiro come on in a game where it is do or die defensively for Manchester United, there's not really room for error. And Casemiro, I feel like he's always got an error in his locker, especially when it comes to, specifically making challenges and maybe making a late challenge, maybe flying into a wrong challenge. He's got that in his locker and he's capable of doing that. United couldn't afford to do that in the midfield yesterday. And I did think that Kobe and Collier, that switch was perfect, because Ugarte was just that destroyer. He said it after the game. Basically, when we don't have the ball, it's a war. and when we have the ball, it's a game. I love that. I absolutely love that mindset. But Collier was able, he's a lot more agile, he's a lot more mobile, he's a lot more able to get up and down the pitch in comparison to maybe Ugarte, because Ugarte is sitting deeper, similar to what Kobe was doing. I don't know if you guys saw, but sometimes he was the furthest guy forward when Man United were on a counter. Ahmad had a chance to play the ball into him twice, I think it was. But he was getting forward. He might not be rapid, but he's faster than Xerxes. And he's able to get up and down the pitch. So I just felt like that game yesterday in particular was a lot more suited for Collier. And maybe this is, like I said, a couple of weeks ago when I started to notice, I think it was like middle of last month, I started to notice that Casemiro was not playing as much as he was, or as much as I thought he would. And that opened the door, I think, for him to leave in the January window. And you know what? It makes sense, because Jim Ratcliffe, when he came into Manchester United, or before he came into Manchester United, it was reported that when he was in talks with the Glazers and the whole process of taking over, he questioned some of the things that he questioned. One of it was the Casemiro signing, and he said reportedly that was a very questionable signing, and if he was the owner, he would not have sanctioned that, because it would not have made sense for them to sign a player that is coming towards the latter stages of his career. He might not be fully declining, but he is coming to the latter stages of his career. And at the time, I'm not going to lie, guys, and be honest with me in the chat, were you gassed when United signed Casemiro? I was gassed, because we just came off of 2 games that we lost. I was confused, but I was gassed, because we just came off of 2 games that we lost against Brighton and getting walloped by Brentford. Watching Christian Eriksen getting dismantled in his second game for Manchester United. And I was happy about it, but I was also confused about it, because I was like, how can we go from chasing Frankie de Jong the entire summer to ending up with Casemiro? But I'm not judging. I was like, I'm not going to judge that, because Casemiro is what United have needed. Maybe a couple of seasons before that, when Pogba was at United, if we had a Casemiro at that time, at that age, he would have been like 27. Perfect. It would have been perfect. But it was also like right player, but wrong time. And United always had a history of doing that kind of stuff. He was one of my favorite Brazilian players. Okay, that favorite Brazilian player is taking it too far. I don't think there's any Brazilian player I like of this generation. Maybe bar Neymar. Absolutely can't take it away from him that he was once a world-class player. Age caught up with him, unfortunately. Big up to Ridwan, says, yeah, I was gassed. He was outstanding in that first season, but it was so predictable. Huge contract for a veteran that doesn't have many years at the top. We desperately needed a 6. Yeah, that's the thing. Because United desperately needed a 6 as well, that made it all the more sweeter. But when you're looking back at it, it was very questionable. Staffy's saying I wasn't. Staffy, firstly, salam alaikum, brother. Secondly, this is your guy. Stop lying, bro. Casemiro is your guy. That is your guy, man. Don't disrespect him. Don't disrespect him. My only bother is that United are relying on selling players before buying players. Now let's get into the interesting part. I'm not gonna lie, guys. This kind of shocked me a little bit today when I saw this news. Now we know that about a week ago it was reported that Manchester United would be exploring options to sell academy players if they had to. And then it was reported today. And I'm not going to lie, guys, it kind of caught me off guard. It caught me off guard a little bit. I didn't expect this. Sources reporting, Alfredo Padula reporting that Napoli have offered Manchester United £38 million, including bonuses, for Alejandro Garnacho. Manchester United are asking for around 60 million. Napoli have also already held 3 meetings with Alejandro Garnacho's entourage. They've been working on this for weeks. It's getting serious. Now, what do we know, guys? This is all domino effect, guys. Kvaratskhelia to PSG. Napoli are going to try to spend that money to go and bring in another player. So it's crazy. It could be Garnacho to Napoli, Kvaratskhelia to PSG, Nuno Mendes to United. It could literally be a triangle transfer window, guys. I'm not saying it will happen, but it could be, because each team involved with this have an interest in another player in the team. Now, 38 million, I can't lie, guys. There's no way any of you guys can be happy with the idea of £30 million for Garnacho. Whether you think he is a superstar or not, whether you think he's a superstar or not, 38 million is a slap in the face. I'm pretty sure Dewsbury Hill went for more than that. How much did Dewsbury Hall, sorry, not Hill. How much did he go for? He went for 30 million. Dewsbury Hall, yeah? Kieran Dewsbury Hall joined Chelsea for 30 million, yeah? In the summer. By the way, I don't even think the guy has played like more than 5 games. Let me see how many games he's played for Chelsea this season. Apparently, he's on the transfer list as well. He's played 15 games, apparently. Oh, he's part of their Conference League squad. Makes sense. He doesn't really play in the Prem, barely in the squad. Sometimes he's on the bench. If he can go for 30 million, there is no way you're telling me that Garnacho is going for that much. There is no way you're telling me Garnacho 38 million is a normal price. There's no way. Absolutely no way. And if you lot are happy with the idea of 38 million, then your hate for Garnacho outweighs the eye test. Because one thing about the transfer windows, guys, yeah? One thing about the transfer windows is that it's not always necessarily what you think the player is valued at. It's what the team values him at. And that is why I feel sorry for sometimes when players go for like a big price. I feel sorry for them because they never ask for that weight on their shoulders, right? Garnacho is 60 million minimum. 100 appearances at senior level at the age of what, 20, 21? Plays for the senior national team as well. At this age, that is at least 60 million. Tell me in the chat, guys. Let me know in the chat how much for Garnacho, and will you sell him for that price? If Napoli came and knocked on the door today, that is a very bad knock. But if they came and they knocked on the door today and they said 60 million plus 10% or 15% add-on, 15%, sorry, sell-on clause, will you guys take it? Because I will be so shocked if United were not to listen to any offer around 60 million. 65 plus 20% of future transfer. Matt says I'd take 70. No deal, 38 million. Yeah, 30 million is mad. Nacho is not worth 60 million. Really? I want 50 million plus add-on. So at least 50 million at the minimum. If Garnacho is worth 60 million, we won't get more than 40 million for him. We are the worst selling club in Europe. That is old talk. It's a new era now. Ineos know how to sell. I'm joking. Biggie says 50 million easy. Big up Red Scare Claire says not a dime less than 65. So everyone's saying around 50 to 65. He barely plays for the senior national team and he's played 100 games for United because United have been poor for 12 to 13 years now. We big up anyone who scores 2 goals and say they are next. Jordan is not impressed with the idea of 60 million for him. Young CR7 is at least 50 million. Don't call him that, man. All right, so 50 million. Gift Me says 70 million, 75 million, 65 million. You lot are okay. The range right now is mad. You lot are saying from 50 million up to 75 million is the range for him. But look, put it like this, guys. Kvaratskhelia is going for 63 million pound, reportedly 80 million euros, and Napoli gonna have 63 million in the bank. So pay up. I do, though, have a strong feeling that, I don't know what it is, I have a strong feeling that between Kobe and Garnacho, one of them will be leaving by the end of the year, by the end of the like in the summer, basically. Before next season, I have a strong feeling that between Garnacho and Kobe, one of them will leave. Because I feel like Ineos don't care about the sentiment of academy players. If it makes money, they will absolutely consider it. 45 million and a 6-pack of Red Bull, and the deal is done, in my opinion. I love a good Red Bull. Oh, yeah, Danny, how could we forget? When was the last time a United player won the Puskás Award, guys? Man, I have to check it. Who has won? I want to know who was the last person to win that award for United, except for, obviously, Garnacho. Oh, Ronaldo. Ronaldo was the last person. I think it says Ronaldo was... I don't think Rooney won it. Ronaldo won it in 2009. Yeah. It looks like Ronaldo was the last guy to win it. Yeah. It looks like Ronaldo was the last one. Yeah, for his free kick against Porto. Damn. When you're broke, you will sell everything that is not nailed down, and that is Ineos right now. That is a good way, yeah. That is a good analogy. That is a good analogy. As long as we get a proper left wing back, I don't care. This is why I said it's a triangle, guys. It is a triangle. Napoli want to sell Kvaratskhelia to PSG. They want to buy Garnacho from United, and United want Nuno Mendes from PSG. If United sell Garnacho, maybe, and this is hypothetical. If United or if Napoli sell Kvaratskhelia to PSG, they now need a replacement, and that's Alejandro Garnacho. And if PSG spends 63 million on Kvaratskhelia, they now need to sell a player, and Man United want Nuno Mendes. So this could be a triangle effect. It kind of reminds me of, it's not really the same, but when João Neves. Is that his name? I've become so bad with names. Yeah, when João Neves was joining PSG, and they basically had to sell Ugarte as a result of that. We can't afford to hold on to too many academy products, but we need to generate pure profit for PSR. 50 million in PSR brings you a long way. It does bring you a long way. I did a whole video on PSR and how it kind of impacts you from an accounting perspective. And it's not just PSR, guys. FFP is another thing as well. We're too focused on PSR. FFP is the UEFA regulations. So it's the same thing as PSR, but UEFA's version. And it's got different rules within that itself. So Man United have to meet those regulations and those terms, as well as the PSR rules. But this is why I say Chelsea did it when Todd Bowley took over. I don't think a lot of people were happy with it, but they sold practically every academy player that was in the team. Right now, how many players in Chelsea's team are academy products, quotation marks, come through the academy? How many? There's not really many. A lot of their team is brought, because they realize the best way to, if you want to spend money, you got to make money. And how do you make money? You make money by selling your academy products. Unless they're one of one, where, like, I don't want to say Kobe, but like a kind of a rare gem coming out of your academy for the first time in 10 years. Everybody else got a price on their head. And I don't think it's far for Reece James to be offloaded soon by Chelsea. I genuinely do not think it's not kind of far-fetched for that idea. Minimum 65 with add-ons. Garnacho will tear the Serie A to pieces. Plus, we gave them McSauce on a cheap. That's true. That is true. But we're going to keep an eye on this. We're definitely going to keep an eye on this. Let's talk, though. Let's talk about the real deal. The real reason why we are here. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Arsenal versus Manchester United. I cannot believe, guys. I cannot believe that United fans are being shamed for winning a penalty shootout. Like, Arsenal, shout out to Arsenal fans, innit? Because yesterday I indulged so much Arsenal fan content. I nearly overdosed on the Arsenal fan content yesterday. Shout out to all of them that made me laugh after the game. It was the most entertaining I've seen Arsenal content for a long time. And the fact that they're being taunted, not just by United, but Liverpool fans are taunting, Chelsea fans having a field day about Kai Havertz. They're having a field day. We got our AFTV back. Because that kept me entertained. Between that, shout out to Turkish, because he kept it 100. I'm not gonna lie, what Turkish was saying was quite factual in terms of Arsenal fans. I saw Robbie getting cooked. Emirates was quiet yesterday. From what I know, that they had 8,000 away fans, but it sounded way more than that. It sounded way more than that. Who should we start with? Let's start with this guy, because I owe him an apology. I owe this guy an apology. This picture, by the way, is pure gold. It's pure gold. We all owe him an apology. I'm saying we because I'm assuming all of you lot are in the same boat as me. Because on Friday, when Ruben Amorim announced in the press conference that Bayindir was going to start, I said it was a questionable decision, but I said I'm going to support him. I said I hope he can redeem himself. He started the game quite shaky. Yeah? I'm not going to lie. First 30 minutes, his passing, I felt like I took a time capsule back into David De Gea days. But he did something that David De Gea could not do in our last penalty shootout in a final in Europe. I know this is not Europe, by the way. I'm saying in the last time we were in a European final in a penalty shootout, Altay Bayindir did something that David De Gea could not do. He saved a penalty. And I don't know if it was just me, guys. Let me know if you guys feel the same. But when Kai Havertz stepped up for the penalty, I genuinely was like, he's going to miss. It's just the way that he stepped up and his persona, his body language. I was not convinced by it. And this is the same guy that you flipping disgrace. That penalty is justice. That's why I called my video Justice Prevails. Because no matter what, guys, you know me, I'm a firm believer in karma, innit? I believe that whatever you do, if you do wrong, it's going to come back to you. Whether in this life or another life, or it's going to come back to you. And you know what I also believe? Karma does not always come back to you. It might come back to, like, your future generation. So I'm sorry to my future grandkids who might have to deal with my karma. But it comes back to you. At some point, it will come back to you in some way or form. And this is karma for that penalty. I'm not even going to talk about the officiating because I already went on a whole rant about the officiating, yeah, after the game yesterday. But this was karma for that penalty that he got. And I wish he actually stepped up to take the penalty. I know it was Odegaard, but I wish he missed it. It would have made it all the sweeter. But shout out to Altay Bayindir. I already said it. I tagged Erdogan, the president of Turkey, on Instagram. I said, build a street after this guy in Istanbul. He's not even from Istanbul. He's from some other place called Osman Gazi or something like that. Build a statue there. Actually, not statue. Build a road after him and call it Altay Bayindir Way. Because he's done enough for me to remember him when he leaves Man United. Fabrizio mentioned Kolo Muani again. Fabrizio, leave us alone. Leave us. Fabrizio, I'm sure. Do you guys, genuine question, yeah? I have a theory. Do you think agents pay Fabrizio to drive up like the prices of their players or something? Like, do you guys, because I genuinely think, like, because sometimes there's some players that he's like always reporting on. He's always reporting on them. Even like he will do like their stats of like when they score. There's specific players that he's always reporting on. But anyway, just on what he's saying Juve and Tottenham have both made contact again with PSG today for Kolo Muani. Man United called last week and remained informed on developments, but Rashford exit will be the key factor. So we already kind of spoke about this. But anyways, back to Altay Bayindir. Shout out to him, man. As soon as he saved as well, he went like this. Shout out to him, man. I'm happy for him. He proved a lot of people wrong. And for me, I called it a redemption story because that 60 minutes, guys, of football after the penalty save, that is what you call redemption. Because let's be honest, guys, when Odegaard stepped up for the penalty, I was 50-50. I'm not going to lie. I was 50-50 about whether he would save it or not. But I promise you, I don't even mean to bring Onana into this, yeah? But if that was Onana, I promise you, Onana will go the right way and it will still go in. Because I've seen that happen quite a few times under Onana. But let's not talk about Onana. Let's let Altay Bayindir have his moment. He can have his moment. Raya was laughable. Very poor in pens. I watched it back today, guys. Why is he diving like 5 seconds before the player goes any direction? The guy... Bruno is about to run up and he's already dived. I'm thinking, what kind of penalty? What? Clearly, you guys have been focusing on set pieces, but not these ones. I saw Arsenal fans. Shout out to the Arsenal fans that were saying, why do we practice corners so much? Why don't we practice penalties? Inverted diving. That is the funny. That literally is what he was doing. It was inverted diving. I thought Ryan was going to hit his head on the post. I don't know what it is, guys. I watched it back yet, and I encourage you lot to watch it back because it's actually quite funny. I didn't notice it at the time. I didn't realize he was going early, but I didn't realize he was going that early. But there's one particular penalty where he goes to the right and the person goes to the left. that he dives so early that by the time he dives, the ball hasn't even gone into the back of the net. He was a ball of nerves. He was a ball of nerves. He was sent with every penalty. Every penalty sent him the wrong way. Every penalty sent him the wrong way. Let's talk about this guy. Me and KG need to have words about this guy. I want to talk about, actually, because it's kind of linked. These two are kind of linked to each other. I actually want to see Joshua Zirkzee get a fair run of games now. I want to see Joshua Zirkzee up top get a fair run of games. Now, I've said this all the time. Joshua Zirkzee is best when you have runners in behind him. But I think the last couple of... This cameo in particular, yeah, not only to come off the bench and, you know, coming off the bench in a game where United are trying to create as many chances but be as compact as possible, it's not easy, but he was able to do that. And he was a lot better on the ball this time round than maybe what we saw against Newcastle. Literally 2 weeks ago, we saw him getting hooked in the 30th minute. And then now, 2 weeks later, he's scoring the winning penalty. I'm glad that they set him up to take the winning, whether it was planned or not. But it was nice that he took the winning penalty, because the confidence boost that can give you as a player. I mean, it's good as well that the fans are singing his name in the away end, because that absolutely helps him. But that is, again, like redemption arc for Bayindir, this is a confidence booster for him. And I genuinely think he should get at least the opportunity to start the next game or two up top. Because Højlund has started... I want to double check. Højlund has started like the last 5 games up top. I'm sorry, I've seen enough. He's started Liverpool. He started Newcastle. He started Wolves. He started the last 5 games. He hasn't scored in the Premier League, guys. And I don't know why we're not talking about this enough, because people are going to say, oh, give him time. The guy hasn't scored since Forest over a month ago. 2 goals in the league this season. That is poor. For a player who, by the way, has been in the starting 11 times out of 16 Premier League games. Yesterday, by the way, I felt like he grew into the game. No, like, this is not a kind of let's shit on Rasmus Højlund. I feel like he grew into the game as the game went on. Because the first 30 minutes, I was live tweeting during the game saying there was one particular moment, oh my God, that stood out to me that Rasmus Højlund did. His hold-up play is not that great. I saw one moment of good hold-up play from him, right? But there was one particular moment, the ball comes to him. Instead of just taking a touch and just laying it back off to someone else, he kind of did a flick into space and gets dispossessed immediately. And that's why I felt like for him and Garnacho, the first half, it was very difficult for United to retain possession coming out of a low block, because the players up top, they can't keep the ball. It was not that great. Mina Højlund agenda side. This is the thing, guys, yeah? And I respect your opinion, I respect your opinion. But raising points and pointing out things that you notice in a game is not an agenda. Please, let's just clarify that. There is not one player I could say I have an agenda against. If I see Joshua Zirkzee doing something wrong today, I'm going to call it out. I'm going to analyze it. I'm going to discuss it with you guys. I'm going to raise my points. If I see Bruno doing something wrong, if I see Kobe, Ahmad, I'm going to talk about it. It's not an agenda. Let's get this idea out of the way that if you criticize a player or you point out a flaw in them in their attributes or in the way that they play, that it's an agenda or you're ripping into them. Otherwise, I will be honest, if we lived in a world where there's no room to learn, this would be a boring world. Like, I always take feedback from my content because I want to know how I can improve my content for people. If I thought that I was already a finished product and no one could give me any feedback or analyze anything, sometimes people said, someone messaged me once and said, Amina, you talk too much sometimes on your stream. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I'm on a stream by myself. I have to talk. I was just trying to get a reaction. you didn't get the reaction that you wanted, but I just don't like the term agendas because I feel like criticism is criticism. When you take it personal, then that's an agenda. When you start insulting a player's appearance or their weight, or you make it personal, that's an agenda. But if you're pointing out kind of flaws in the way that they're playing, I see no problem with it personally. I see no problem with it. But I want to see Joshua Zirkzee, I think, hasn't started back-to-back games since the beginning of the season. He has not started back-to-back games since the beginning of the season. Rasmus Højlund came back, and I think by the third game from his injury when he returned back, he was back into the starting lineup. And that's under Erik ten Hag, by the way. That's under Erik ten Hag. I would like to see Southampton. I'd like to see Zirkzee get a run. I don't know if you guys agree with me. Let me know if you agree with me. But also, I think it depends. Another thing, I think it depends on who is starting in the 210s, which at the moment, it looks like it's only going to be Bruno and Ahmad. I think that will be the case. Rasmus doesn't know when to stop trying to outmuscle the defenders, especially when it's not working. Zirkzee didn't even try to wrestle them, man. He just tried to outplay them. Yeah, that's all he tried to do. He tried to play football. And what did he do? He sat Saliba on his ass. That clip there, I saw it in a HD, like 4K version this morning. That is one of my highlights from yesterday, when he sat Saliba on his ass. Zirk definitely needs a run of games. I agree. It'll be interesting to see if he actually gets a run of games, especially now that he's committed to United and apparently he does not want to leave and he wants to see the season out. His current form is pretty bad, but he still broke a record for youngest player for most consecutive goals last season. I don't see all doom and gloom for him. I don't think it's doom and gloom for Rasmus, but I do think if sometimes something's not working, let's switch it up. Didn't Højlund say earlier this season about stopping the wrestling? Why is he doing it even more? I think he said when Amorim came in, by the way, he said that this was a system that he was familiar with. I think he scored once in the league since then. Not a fan of either, Minna, but the manager hasn't found a balance for them. You know what, guys? Listen to what Amorim says in his post-match comments, because he said something about, he was asked about basically, have you found your regulars, like your starters? And he basically said, we still haven't got our, basically, I'm paraphrasing what he said, but he basically said, look at the people that are playing game in, game out. And that will give you an idea. And then he used Ugarte as an example because Ugarte is playing game in, game out. So that is an example of maybe his solidified midfielder is Ugarte. And I think Kobe is too. I think that partnership is one. You look at the lineup sheet, and there's some players that you always will expect to see on the lineup sheet before the game. And that is including Bruno Fernandes, Ugarte, Kobe. I'll say the back line. By the way, guys, I don't know. Do I have a picture of him? Here he is. This guy here, yeah? This guy here, Mr. Lenny Yoro. Coming on, to see the game out. But to step up and take a penalty at the Emirates. By the way, guys, I realized 2 defenders stepped up to take penalties. Maybe that's what it helps when you've got defenders that are good at ball striking ability. They're good on the ball. But to step up at the composure, guys, 19 years old, 18 years old, 18, I think he's 18. That is serious cojones. And you know what's so funny, guys? I remember when United signed Lenny Yoro. And I know some people of certain fan bases saying 50 million for an 18-year-old that's played 1 season of top flight football. This guy is the future for United. For United's backline, this guy is the future. United are in good hands with him, with Ahmad, with Kobe. If we don't pattern up, we'll lose him. This is one thing that I kind of think about all the time, is the possibility of losing players because United are going to suck. And that is why we have to fully get behind Ruben Amorim. We fully have to get behind Ruben Amorim. And I'm saying we, but I equally mean Ineos. Ineos need to give this guy the money and the financial support that he needs to bring in his players. I mean, if he's doing this with this squad, this crop of players, which on a technical level, on a physical level, they have a lot of deficiencies. Imagine what he could do with the players that are made for his system and the profiles that are made for his system. Get him a left wing back. Get him a 10. Get him a striker. Get him another centre back. Get him a midfielder. Get him the players that he needs so badly so that he can flourish with Manchester United. Because to come to the Premier League, guys, and come to the English system and to adapt the way he has, and it hasn't always been kind of smooth sailing. I feel like there's been moments where sometimes he's got the subs wrong. Sometimes he's got the starting lineup wrong. You know, when he started Eriksen and Casemiro together. But he's also, the fact that United have beat City, beat Arsenal, and drew to Liverpool at Anfield, could have won against Liverpool. Let's be honest. Could have won at Anfield in the space of 1 month, guys, or even less than 1 month. Amorim with 0 transfers ended Arteta's phase project. What would be a player we could get this season that would make sense? I think what would make sense is a left wing back. A left wing back would make sense. Now, I'm warming up to the idea of Nuno Mendes, but if that is not the left wing back that the manager wants, like full out, then don't waste money on him. Wait until you can get the left wing back that you want. If it's Kirkes, if it's Robinson, if it's Alphonso Davies, if it's Alvaro Fernandez. Shout out to Alvaro Fernandez. He just won a trophy with Benfica on the weekend as well. But I hope United don't just go and sign a left wing back because PSG are offloading him and he's available. Unless he's the one that the manager wants. Another part of me wants United to get a striker. Another one, Balde. Oh my God. I watched the El Clasico yesterday, yeah? And all I could think, Kabasi, 17 years old. Balde, I've watched him strike a ball, guys. He scored with a sweet strike. I thought, if only Man United had fullbacks that could do that. And that's why also, guys, I watch a lot of football. I indulge in a lot of football, right? But when I watch non-Man United games is when I realize how dire Manchester United's situation is. Genuinely speaking, like when I watch players like Rafinha ripping up Real Madrid, when I watch people like Araujo, who some people don't even rate, but he had a good performance yesterday. When I watch games outside of Manchester United, and I watch a lot. I was watching Leverkusen versus Dortmund the other day, and I watched Tapsoba have, I think he had involvement in 3 of their goals. I saw Frimpong receive the ball on the turn on the wide channel, look up, see his striker making a run, and pinpoint on a plate, put it on a plate for him. I thought must be nice. Mina will give you Frankie. Keep him Balde. No, thank you. You can keep Frankie. You can absolutely keep Frankie. Last but not least, I have to give honorable mention for this guy right here. Whoa. Why is it so? Who do you guys think this is? Who do you lot think that is? I'm sure you lot will be able to guess because it'll be so obvious. Honorable mention for this guy here. Honestly, I stood up and applauded when he came off yesterday. That little limp walk that he did coming off. What a performance. Not just yesterday, by the way. He's been putting in top performances for the last couple of weeks in that central centre-back role. Now, I don't know if he's going to stay. I don't know if he's going to stay at United. But yesterday, guys, if Bayindir did not get man of the match, this guy would have been my man of the match. He's aging like a beast. What are we applauding? Where are the Premier League titles? The UCLs, where are they? Sorry. Fun police is here, guys. The fun police is around. Everyone put your hands up. You got me. You got me. You got me. The lit would have been mine. Nah, the lit was solid as well. The lit was solid as well. But listen, the thing is, guys, we can give credit where it's due. We can show respect and give credit where it's due. Let's do that. Let's appreciate, because it's not going to be too long, guys, until United go on 3-game losing bounce and we're cussing the players again. It's not going to be too long. But can I just say, yesterday was a prime example of just the players giving everything they got for 120 minutes. I didn't even care about I did care about the penalty shootout, guys, but I was not. When the penalty shootout started, I said, you know, it's in the hands of God now. If we lose, we lose. If we win, we win. I don't think I would have been in turmoil, emotional turmoil, if United lost in penalty shootouts. Because of the 120 minutes of football that we watched. And if they can play like that for 90 minutes straight, I think it would make losses more bearable. But it's the way that United lose that makes the losses unbearable. And I'm sure, I don't know if a lot of you guys felt the same way. But yesterday, when it went to penalties, I was like, it is what it is at this point. It'll be great to win. But these are the kind of performances, I said it in the post-match video that I did, these are the kind of videos, the kind of games, that you can get behind as fans. When you can see, literally, them leaving everything on the pitch. Maguire throwing themselves in front of everything. I didn't, by the way, talk about Dalot because I'm not even going to talk about him. I think you have to be missing a brain cell to fly into a tackle in the manner in which he flew into a tackle. But oh my God, guys, I'm late for the Straight Jacket podcast. Damn, I don't like being late. You know me, I'm a very punctual person, guys. I love to be punctual. And yet here I am being late because I'm going on a whole rant about Harry Maguire and Manchester United. Listen, guys, be sure to hit the like button. Did we hit 100 likes? We are 11 likes away from 100 likes, which means that there's about 11 of you guys here right now, and you have not hit the like button. So make sure you hit the like button. I will redirect you lot to the Straight Jacket podcast. Make sure you lot come over. I got some cookings to do. And then after that, we're on the red carpet. And then eventually I can just leave my studio and have dinner. You see the grind, guys? You see the hustle? Don't let it go to waste. Make sure you lot hit the like button. I'll be back tomorrow, inshallah, with the daily dose of Mina. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about all the time throughout the week. Listen, we got so much content coming. Not just match reactions to Manchester United. We're going to be doing match reactions to all the big games across Europe and all the big games in the Premier League as well. Hit the like button on your way out. I hope to catch a lot of you guys on the Straight Jacket podcast. Hope you have a great one, guys. I'm out. Peace.